back once again, and even little Rosie's here. Little Rosie would like to say hello as well. She wants to do an analysis too, and we got plenty of things to analysize today as Bitcoin does play at the pullback that we spoke about in yesterday's video. Rosie, what do you think about that? Yeah, not much, huh? Just taking some poops and peas and peas and poos and waking us up at fucking 2 a.m. Actually, pretty well done. Last night, 14 weeks old, didn't wake up once. Didn't wake up once. Holy fucking moly. Good job, Rosie. Good job indeed. Now try not to eat everything that's on the ground. Anyways, Elsa, I'm going to send Rosie back to you. So get ready for delivery. Go, 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 go. All right, she's sniffing. That's not good signs. That's not good. Not a good sign. Not a good sign, actually. Anyways, we'll continue to talk about Bitcoin short-term pullback today. And then, honestly, the real interest right now is in traditional markets and has been in traditional markets for, I mean, many months, maybe even you might say the whole last year. As traditional markets in general is where all of the funds been had, especially in commodities and in the tech sector as well, namely AI, robotics. You already know the deal. Everyone already knows this. Bitcoin no longer relevant. No one gives a fuck anymore, unfortunately, except for us fucking crazy nerds, I guess. Anyways, it is what it is, man. Anyway, Elsa is asking for her message to be pinned. I will pin her message and get to that a little bit later. I see Matthew Smead here. What's up, man? Good morning to you. Pulse chain to the moon. That's right. Pulse chain is going to the moon. It's going through the sound of the earth first. I'm actually genuinely curious. What the hell does this thing look like as of this moment? Is it even on? Oh, God. Yeah, they've definitely taken it off of TradingView. Probably not even on Coin Market Derp anymore as well, right? I mean, God, it's Peacock versus Wrapped Pulse Chain versus Peacock versus fucking Tiger Pulse. Like, God, Jesus Christ, man. At what point do these people not realize? No. I think they have realized. I think they're all gone. I haven't seen any, at least. Maybe I should go on Twitter and educate myself on that. Dripply Old Cheese says Unreal Engine would make the LARP lines like 40% more real. Probably yes. Perhaps in addition for the future. Maybe TradingView will actually update their own interface and integrate Unreal Engine. That would be actually pretty cool if they could make it more interactive like that. That would actually be super, super cool. Highly unnecessary, but also the cool factor very, very high indeed. Look, I'm switching into more of a long-term investor. I got very little things to do on a day-to-day basis, so give me that Unreal Engine, baby. I want some more shit going on over here. Oh wow, I just realized that you can actually have oh snap, you can actually have closed captions on a live stream. I didn't know that. Anyways, highly unnecessary for right now, but yeah. Anyways, need to search for PLSX as DEX for the chart. Oh God, man. Yeah, it's just that chart. That's the real chart, not that old shitty chart. It's the new shitty chart, of course. Yes, indeed. Vahid Gabel says, good morning, brother. What's up, man? Happy New Year to you as well. Wishing you infinite health and wealth as always, and also to you too, sir. By the way, that's the first time I've ever seen you wearing a hoodie, and I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's actually just cold here right now. We live in a very warm state, but right now I guess we've just been spoiled at this point. It's really not that cold, honestly. If you're in Celsius, it's probably like 15 degrees Celsius, and if you're in Fahrenheit, it's probably like, I don't know, 60, maybe something like that. Is not that bad, but we've been spoiled now, man. I can't go back to the old cold weather, man. The Europores of the world do not realize how cold and depressed and depraved they are in their castrated world over there across the pond. In America here, we got fucking warm, sunny weather pretty much all year round, unless if you live in the northern states. Yes, I get that. Yeah, look, if you live in Washington, if you live in New York, if you live in Chicago, Michigan, then yeah, you're like basically a Europore light. But for us in the southern portion of the United States of America, very warm, very beautiful. We fucking love it, man. Always a nice day in paradise here. The humidity coming in, says Farleon. Yeah, man. Humidity probably not starting for another few months, to be honest with you, man. But hey, I could use a little bit of humidity. In fact, I'm gonna go buy a humidifier after this stream. I'm not even joking. My throat is getting crushed at night. Don't know what the hell's going on. This guy says so much random stuff. Indeed. Are you new here, Benny Blanco from the Bronx? Great fucking name, buddy. Anyways, next week, -22. God damn, man. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Yes, been in Florida for 15 years. It's cold now. Yeah, man. Everyone goes through their cold spells, but it's all relative, man. It's all relative indeed. Because, I mean, I can tell you straight up, in Finland, a Finnish summer day is literally colder than your average winter day in Florida. I can assure you of this fact. I spent many years living there. I prefer Northeast, man. I can't do hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes earthquakes. I understand. I totally get it. Look, I'm just talking shit, man. You can't take too many of the things that I say seriously unless if it's about price action. Even then, you know, even then, prone to saying all sorts of dumb shit as well. Anyways, throat getting crushed at night, giggity. Oh, you bastard, you caught me. You fucking caught me. Anyways, yeah, you know, as far as Bitcoin goes, you know, we are seeing that that pullback play out that we spoke about on yesterday's video. And it is coming down to what I would refer to as like kind of like the last point that I really want to see it come down to. We've seen the reconnect now on the 5-day 5 EMA. If you're looking at the 5-day 5 EMA setup as valid, which it is a valid entry right now, but basically with the reconnect as of this morning's low at, you know, 90,900 or so, we really don't expect it to go too much lower if Bitcoin is going to be bullish from here on this move. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if you are bullish and if you think that Bitcoin is ready to break out, then this morning's low, and maybe goes a little bit lower, but really not much lower than this morning's low, you would expect to hold, and it should be generally sideways and up from here if that is going to play out. If it does not play out, you will know because Bitcoin is closing below 90,700. Or let's just call it 90,500. It's a nice round even number to remember. And if Bitcoin does do that, then yeah, you know, at that point, this setup very likely going to fail and have to be looking for a move back down. I would imagine sub 90. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'd full on get bearish from there still, but I would be expecting to return back down to the middle of the range at minimum, which is your mid 80s, and perhaps even all the way down to low 80s at that point. Very possible. But as of right now, you know, we are seeing what we expected to see. And with that in mind, I have to go with this setup until proven otherwise. And again, this setup has actually failed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row. But of course, when this setup does hit, it does have some of the most amazing returns, you know, of any of the major setups that we follow on this channel. Again, this setup is, I mean, honestly, it is pretty good in its base format, but if you do want to optimize it further, you certainly could figure out better ways to handle the losses. Even then, though, you know, I wouldn't get too cute with kind of optimizing this. If you're in the Quant Prime program, we do show this exact setup, right? It's super fucking simple setup. I mean, shit, anyone can do it. You don't even need to automate it with Quant Prime. You can literally do it yourself. Just put a 5 EMA in your chart. Whenever the 5-day closes above, open a long. Whenever close below, close that long. If you want to automate it, though, then yeah, Quant Prime is going to be good for that. And of course, I forgot to mention, we got a sale going on for the beginning of this year of 2026 for all the people who are looking to start a new endeavor in life, perhaps trading, perhaps investing. We got tools for both these things. The link is in the description below. The code is 2026. I'll post it again right here. 2026, literally the number of the year for 20% off of any one of the programs or services. Again, in that teachable link, the description below. But yeah, as far as that goes, we do, you know, I do look at this as valid, and I do look at this as likely to be the low if this is going to be bullish. So where could we come up with a more granular area to invalidate the short-term setup? Because I personally wouldn't want to wait another 3 days for, you know, for a closure below that particular level if it's going to fail. And I think for that, we can go back to the Rev and Ribbons over here. We just released this, by the way, yesterday, but only to the people who hold the Quantum Waybands program. We just kind of want to keep it, you know, a little bit more on the smaller side as of right now. We want to get some feedback. I've really been enjoying this because we've been looking, I mean, I've been using this for a while now, and Revan's been testing it himself for, you know, many, many months now. But, you know, we want to start off small. We want to get some feedback. And in this case, we do see that, yes, the midline of the upside target was rejected yesterday. That is to be expected. And now we're coming back to the short-term target, which is effectively the midline here. That's a little bit lower than the 5-day 5 EMA. The 5-day 5 EMA is about 90,500. This one on a daily, however, so I do think that this is going to be more relevant if there is going to be a breakdown in the short term. This one is probably going to be better to follow, is what I'm trying to say, is the midline at 89,900. So if you do see a daily closure below, I wouldn't wait for the 5-day to close. I would be favoring the daily here because this setup very likely to lead towards a move back down to the mid 80s. And at that point, the 5-day setup is very likely going to be invalidated. It's very likely going to fail. And we go back to the drawing board waiting for the next setup. And, you know, at some point, one of those setups is going to hit, and it is going to be a big fucking move. But in this case, you know, have to be open to all possibilities happen. Anyways, again, I want to reiterate, while I am talking about these potential invalidations, for right now, everything is viable to the upside, and probabilities do favor the upside overall. It's more so figuring out the short term, is Bitcoin ready right now? And generally, the I guess the broader market conditions are conducive towards, you know, continuation to the upside. I mean, for fuck's sake, man, look at traditional markets over here. We're in the wrong goddamn market. Everything's going up. Everything's going up big as well. Feels like a guilty pleasure every time I look at traditional markets, because it's like, I guess I'm really trying to distill down into English words like what what separates a short-term trader from a long-term investor in terms of psychology, because I have been slowly switching over to a long-term investor, and I can tell you it is definitely a different game psychologically speaking, because you're just so tested in your patience to not do anything. I mean, people think that they're tested in their patience like with shorter term time frame trading. I can assure you it's nothing like longer term time frame trading, or basically long term investing. It's a different beast, because realistically you're only making, or at least I'm trying to only make a few decisions per year when it's necessary, and for the most part there's just nothing to do and nothing to see except for all this lovely green shit going on the right side of my screen, which is amazing. If you've been following my long-term traditional market portfolio, you know all of those defense names are up big right now, and they are on a fresh breakout too. I mean, shit, man. One of my favorite ones is, of course, Shield right here, and this thing is just making fresh new all-time highs, and this is effectively resolving a consolidation. So while it is making new all-time highs, I'm looking at this as a new breakout just beginning right here, right now, and that is not uncharacteristic of many of the names that we've been looking at in this market. Here's ITA. I mean, like, for fuck's sake, you know, don't need to be a genius to look at that one. XAR, same shit. Kratos, which is one of my singular stocks. This one also kind of taking a leg up here too. Surprised me in a good way, obviously. But you know, when we're looking at these higher term timeframes, again, very rarely things do happen. And you know, to put things in perspective, with a break to new all-time highs right here, I mean, for fuck's sake, man. Okay, maybe not new all-time highs on this thing, but a new break above the prior swing high. It's just continuation. It's just more sitting on your fucking hands. It gets more and more boring, but the more boring it gets, the better it is. What is that? What is that? What is that? Anyways, looking at SPY futures, do you want to acknowledge that they did indeed make new all-time highs, I believe, yesterday? Let's see. Did that indeed happen? 69.98 and a quarter, yeah, versus 69.94. So we do have slightly new all-time highs. I've seen a lot of people trying to call tops on this thing. I mean, this is just a beautiful uptrend. There is absolutely no reason at all whatsoever, in my opinion, to be bearish on this thing, as long as you're above last Thursday's low, literally the low of January, or the low of this year thus far. This one wants to continue to new highs. It's in a beautiful uptrend. That's your last higher low. It just made new highs this morning. Just let it do what it's going to fucking do, man. Just let it do what it's going to fucking do. I highly assume that NASDAQ futures will follow as well. It is just not as strong, but ultimately, this thing should follow SPY futures, and at some point should probably start to outpace it again, because this has been the leader of the market. But I think that we're seeing rotations right now. We're seeing rotations, and I haven't really looked at the industrial index, but yeah, that one is the one that's getting the most love right now. So priorly they were not getting the most love. Now they're being rotated as the number one. Then it's SPY, or I guess the broad market. Then it's probably techs, and you know, whatever else comes after that, probably mid cap, small cap, something like this is typically the rotational, I guess, revolving door. But yeah, you know, a lot, just more and more waiting here, man. That's really what it's coming down to. As far as other things that I bought publicly on this channel, still just holding them. Lunar was a big one that we bought at the end of December. This one continuing with the breakout. I'm loving that shit. GM, which is a great name, also a great truck maker as well. Fresh breakout on the quarterly here too. You know, a lot of these things I think are just going to be a big hold for this year of 2026. Yeah, there's going to be pullbacks. There's probably going to be double-digit pullbacks at some point, but I'm not looking for a reversal this year. More importantly, if we go to the higher term timeframes again for the yearly charts on, you know, on our major indices. Again, this is a very crazy chart. Absolutely. It's a very fucking crazy chart, but I think it gets a lot more crazy before it's done. And, you know, this thing could easily have a 10% pullback intra-year here, and that would be an opportunity, at least in my opinion. I don't think that we're going to see the highs in this year. I think if the market's going to make a new, you know, a major macro high, that's a 2027 conversation, or at least if it's going to happen, it's going to be very late 2026. Any sort of pullbacks that happen intra-year here, I think are just going to be major opportunities. So if I did see like a 64 tick here on SPY futures, or if NASDAQ came down to, let's say, like 23,500, I'm not saying it's going to, but if it did, that to me is a major opportunity. These things are not, I don't think that they're topping this year, or at least, again, if that's going to happen, it's very late in the year. We're talking about like a Q4 type of thing. Until then, it's just let the trend be your fucking friend and try not to overthink these things, try not to get in your own way. And that's really what I'm coming to as more of a long-term investor, is that you have to be okay with just watching it passively, basically, which I fucking hate that word passive, you know, because people think of like passive income. It's not passive income. I mean, you are employing a skill there, but God, man, it just feels weird. It just feels weird after being so active for so many years. Anyways, a few more sips of this caffeine, then we'll get into some of these super chats. We didn't really go into like a humongous analysis of Bitcoin. And if you are just joining, I should let you know again that we do have our sale going on for 2026 with the code 2026 for 20% off in 2026, beginning of 2026 for the next week. But yeah, realistically, the Revan Ribbons here gets everything in the short term perfectly that I'd want to look at. As far as upside targets, 5-day 5 EMA, we got historical price action statistics indicator over here. This one already did hit the bottom end. I don't know if this one actually got a good bounce today, so perhaps we do expect an intraday bounce. Let's see. Did get down, of course, right here. Did it trade above the entry? That would be 92. 150, nah, not in a scalpable way. I mean, $100 from open to close is pretty fucking pathetic on this. So yeah, probably does get a bounce before end of day, but still, I want to really highlight the importance here for Bitcoin on a daily closing basis. On a daily closing basis for Bitcoin, 89,900. Or sorry, 89,850, 89,850 very specifically, 89,850, any sort of a daily closure below there, I will relinquish my short-term bullishness, not necessarily getting full on bearish, but just looking for a return back down to mid or low $80,000 territory. But as long as Bitcoin's above there, I still do run with the same analysis that we've been having now for what seems like a month and a half to 2 months. Bitcoin just more likely to trade to the upside from here. And while it is knocking on the top side of the range, we don't necessarily have a breakout just yet. In order for Bitcoin to really confirm a breakout, you need to see a closure back above the December swing high from the 8th or the 9th? It would be the 8th of December, which was 94,600. Let's call it something like that. If we see something like that, then yeah, we got a breakout and still looking somewhere around $100,000. Still think that is the more likely thing to be happening regardless, to be honest with you. Anyways, let's see what the old comments have gotten over here. What sort of shit coins can we be looking at on today's video? What happened to definitely $100,000? Sir, there is always a non-zero probability of something happening that you do not necessarily want to happen, but is possible to happen. There is no definitely $100,000. You have never heard me say that once, ever, ever, ever. However, it is a high probability. In my opinion, it is a relatively high probability, much more higher than breaking down below $80,000. There is no definitely in trading or investing at all whatsoever, ever, ever, ever. If you say such things, you are a fool. You are a fucking fool!
Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Anyways, let's look at some shitcoin stocks. Steven Schickman is first. He's looking at MSTZ. Let's check it out. MSTZ over here. And what do we have? Hold on. I don't want to look at it on this chart. That's not going to be, I mean, it could be helpful, but I'm just more accustomed to looking at it from this angle right here. Let's see. We'd be expecting this thing to put in a higher low if it is going to be bullish. Daily does. No, I think the daily still comes a little bit lower here, but you still have higher lows as long as you're above about 12 and a quarter, 12 and a half bucks. And I do still stick with what I said the other day. I think you do come down to about 12 and a half bucks and try for a higher low there. So maybe one more push to the downside, whether it's like 12 and a quarter, 12 and a half, somewhere in this pocket right here. Oh, I've already circled it off, but okay, maybe a little bit lower than what I'd be looking for. Something like this, that double O right there. Something like that. If it is going to be bullish, I would be expecting the higher low there. But yeah, one more try to the downside and then come back to it. But yeah, to be fair, it's in a strong position. So, it hasn't lost its luster just yet. It only turns bearish if it takes out the December low. If it takes out the December low, then we got, well, not necessarily you have a big problem, but MicroStrategy bears have a big problem at that point, because that's probably going to be a MicroStrategy, big upside move. I think it might be worthwhile to look at MicroStrategy as well. I know you didn't ask for it, but I just want to get my own sort of vision of what this one's doing, because we've been calling for a bounce off of the 150 number for a while. It is bouncing. It's very sluggish though. I think that there is some bullish evidence starting to form here. Yeah, technically no. Maybe a 5. Just as always, go to a time frame that confirms your biases. Even the 5 day doesn't have it. Daily time frame obviously does have it, but that one's already hit the easy target. If this one does start to close above this morning's high on a daily closure, then yeah, I do think that this one will rally pretty big above $200. And I think overall you're going to get that move either way, a move above $200 on this thing before it's all said and done. I highly doubt that you're going to see this thing just continue to fucking fall straight through a major moving average like this on the monthly or on the weekly without at least a bounce temp first. I'm not saying that it can't fall through. It's just give it a bounce first above 200 bucks. Then if it's going to fall, turn, roll over from there and come back down, okay, maybe it does break, but, give it a chance to bounce first. Cause that is, that is likely going to be a very big bounce. I mean, shit, if it goes from here to 200 bucks, that's what, a 25% bounce. If it goes to 230 to 250, which is where I think it's more likely to go, that's a, that's 50% plus bounce. So, so very tradable in that, in that regard. And if you do see MSTZ take out that December low, then yeah, that's all, almost all but guaranteed in my opinion. Anyways, looking at Steven Schickman, he is looking at Zeta stock daily, weekly. I'm glad that you said it is indeed a stonk. See what we got here on NYSE. Pretty good, actually, pretty good. As the weekly does trade back above the September highs from this year. I do look for this one to trade all the way up towards the general range highs, and you can see if you are a pattern bro, you could look at this as an inverted herp and derp. You got the left herp over here. Let me just draw it out. Whoops. Let me select it right there. Boom, boom, boom. And then a higher low right there. I don't know if it actually works out like that, but ultimately I do respect the higher low, and seeing that it is already reclaiming the last prior swing high, that to me is a confirmed reversal. And I would be looking for this thing to have a relatively quick move on the weekly back up somewhere around 27 to 28 bucks. Probably a short-term pullback from there, but this thing is kind of in a strong position. And while it might have a strong, a short-term pullback there, I think there's a good shot that this thing actually just trades the upside from there. If you are in the monthly, that does look a lot more like an inverted herp and derp. And there is an implied move to be made off of this. Let's just do it really quickly, see where that one lands. Okay, can I actually get that properly? Yeah, 32, 33 bucks, more long-term, I suppose. Something like this, with stops along the way. But yeah, overall quite good. And I would just maintain a bullish bias on this thing as long as you're above, especially yesterday's low on a daily closing basis, very specifically, which is about 22 and a quarter. So yeah. Darkra93 says, good day, sir. What's up, man? ABAT, daily, weekly, breakout, or fake out? Ooh, this is a fun game. This is a fun game. Let's see what American Battery Technology Company is doing. Is it a breakout or is it a fake out? It's a nothing. It's a nothing right now. It's still consolidating. I don't think it's ready to break out just yet. Long term, it's not very wise to be looking for breakouts on something like this, but oh shit. Okay, weekly, you do have hidden bullish evidence here. All right. Maybe it is ready to break out. Let's see. Okay, I would personally, I would not declare this broken out just yet. But if you trade above yesterday's high at 497, I would say, yeah, it's broken out. But until then, I still look at this as a range play. I don't think it's a fake out because I do think it will try an upside move more long term based off of the weekly. I do think it'll get back up to about $6 at least. But is it ready from this exact moment right here? That I don't know. I would only say that it is if it trades above yesterday's high. If it does that, then yeah, send it back up towards, what was it, like $6 or whatever? Yeah, something like this. And then come back to it after that. If that's the breakout that you're speaking about, by the way, which I'm not exactly sure. Probably yes, because you're on the daily and the weekly, so that would make sense. Until then, I'd just be treating it still as a range, but a range that is likely to try to the upside at some point, just maybe not exactly from this particular precise day. Anyways, we got 1236N. He's looking at BE Bloom Energy. Are we headed to a new all-time high? Are we? I don't know. You might be. I'm probably not, though. Let's see. I don't know if it's headed to an all-time high, but I do think it's in a good position here to at least trade up to 120. I think that's very, very likely. And shit, if you trade above 120, yeah, why not? I mean, this would be your next swing high or low, I guess. It's kind of an ugly looking one, but yeah, it works out, I suppose. I'd feel very confident with 120. And then, yeah, if you start to settle like a daily above 120, okay, sure. Yeah, send it up to new all-time highs. Just really depends on what sort of a time frame you're on, I suppose, because long-term, it does look good. It's just the real question is it ready to do it exactly from this moment here? It's kind of similar as the last chart. I think overall it's in a good position. Just, is it ready right now? I think you get that 120 relatively soon in the next like week and a half. And then, yeah, I guess if a daily settles above there, then sure, yes, set it up to new all-time highs. I mean, this thing is kind of showing the same sort of formation as most of the stonks right now that are continuous. Just a little bit of a laggard, I guess. But a lot of them, are eating up that December low and marching back up already to, to prior highs. This thing a little bit less strong in that regard, but I would imagine it's probably going to follow. I'm just not seeing any like super obvious signals here, except for, test 120. So yeah, anyways, Great White Hype says, GM Crown, what's up, man? QUBT stonk on the daily weekly. Got it. Damn, we haven't done a single fucking Krypton today. Amazing, fucking amazing. I love this community. This community is the best, absolutely the best. We have evolved from the crypto shitcoins to the stock shitcoins. Not bad right here, 8-day time frame, which not something I typically look at, but does have some hidden bullish evidence. Let's see if that is also on the weekly or the bi-weekly. Bi-weekly could have it, does have lower lows on the bi-weekly RSI, but doesn't have a confirmed local low here just yet. I don't know when I did these LARP lines, but I generally think that they're going to continue to be true. It's something like this. It's putting in a low right here and it's going to rally its way up. Long term, kind of an ugly chart. You know, generally don't like charts like this, but I do think that you do have a short term / medium term move back up somewhere around 16 and a half, maybe $18. And then I'd want to come back to it after that because the long term history is pretty ugly. But, you know, in the short term, do I think it tries some upside from here? Probably yes. Yeah, I would be betting on that. Your next like big area of interest in the short term is going to be 1369. Great number right there. Any sort of a closure above there, and yeah, I think that this thing is going to have a pretty sizable move to like 18-ish, something like that, man. So yeah, what else we got? We got 1236. N is back again. He's looking at Oklo has bullish divergence from 3-day to a weekly. Let's check it out. Okay, LO. Okay, it's real strong again. It hit the $100 target you mentioned. Cool. What will you look for at this level for it to be bullish to 140 and up? Okay, yeah, so it did hit 100, so that's good. And it does have some hidden bullish evidence populating on the weekly. So I do think that you will extend this run probably to around 115. That's the next big area of interest here. That's your price action pivot. It's technically actually a little bit lower than that. It's 114.29. So I guess if you could close above there, then yeah, I would be looking for a move towards 140 is not super relevant to me. It'd actually be 150. And at that point, I mean, it's basically new all-time highs anyways, right? Same sort of chart here as we've seen on a few other things. And for me, if it could trade above last month's high, which is 114.25. So that same swing that we just identified on the weekly as relevant for a short-term target, but does not imply it'll close above it. But if it does get a weekly closure above there, I think you're going to be on a new all-time high rally, and 150 is like the next major area of interest, but I don't really think things are going to stop there. I think that it'll be like a short-term stopping point for consolidation and then move higher. But you got a pretty easy invalidation here, man. You know, last month's low is where the axe, you know, drops on this thing reversing. Until then, this very well could be the next higher low again, if and only if it closes this weekly above 115, let's call it. I think that you will test that number. I just need to see a closure above that number in order to, you know, get the new upside targets. Personally, I do think that it will do that. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah. Ojuani Ashi says, been an OG of the channel since 2018. Fucking yes, man. Fucking yes. You have a very difficult name to say. I'm going to call you OJ, okay? Hopefully that's all good, man. I apologize if that's offensive. But I'm always glad to see 2018 OGs here, man. You're looking at Black Sky. Fuck yeah, man. Black Sky was something that I wanted to buy. BKSY, yeah. I was looking at buying this thing. I ended up not buying it, but I do think it's a generally good pick here. I really like this low on hidden bullish divergence. I think that this thing is going to pop back up to 28, maybe $30, something like that. And then, you know, is it going to pull through? I don't think it's as strong as the other defensive stocks, but I do think you at least get that move. Let's just call it like $30 to round up there. For me, the next big breakout will be confirmed if it can just trade above. And this is not that helpful, unfortunately, but it's just the way that I have to do things, which is going to be the October high of 33.20. I do think you're going to get around about $30 at least on this rally. The question is, can it close a weekly above 33.20? If it does, I think you got a phenomenally massive breakout incoming in which you might see, okay, I really don't like getting crazy with targets and like hyping people up and shit like that, because usually it's not very relevant. But on this chart, I mean, I think you're gonna have a really sizable move if you reclaim that number. I think you might be in for like a 2x back up to like 60, $70. It's a tremendous move, but you know, that would be a tremendous development to reclaim that rejective high in October. If that happens, I genuinely do think you will get a 2x move from there, or about that, back up to 60, 70, maybe even $80. This run could get crazy if that happens. And right now, the narrative is very strong for these things. Like I said, some of my biggest positions, especially for individual stocks, is with defense technology names. I know some people have like moralistic issues with that. I take completely the opposite side, because in my opinion, the better technology you have, the less likely you are to actually have to fight a kinetic war. Who wants to fuck with someone who's technologically superior to them? I mean, shit, man, did you just see what happened in Venezuela? I mean, that's pretty crazy to see something like that. Think about all the other conversations going around in the world with the US, and I don't know, Trump probably gets on the phone with fucking Putin. He's like, hey, did you see that Venezuelan fuckface? Hey, if you don't play ball with us, I don't know, maybe we come visit you in the night as well. Something like that, maybe, but yeah, anyways, my point is that defense technology is a pretty good narrative right now. And you can see some of the biggest ralliers right now on my list are defense stocks. So yeah, man, I think that this one does have potential, but again, very much contingent upon its ability to reclaim 3320, even though I think it'll very likely test at least $30. So yeah, man. Davad says RIVN, daily, weekly, monthly. Gotcha. Okay, this one's been popular recently too. This is some sort of a electronic trucks SUV maker, which I see around town all the time. I actually think that this one is breaking out here. In fact, it did meet my breakout criteria. It did close above your July 2024 high. So I look at this as 1, 2, 3 higher lows plus a higher high above that swing high. Thus, this thing is actually entering into a true reversal, in which I would expect it to, at some point, okay, I don't know when, but at some point, trade up to like $28, something like that. I actually do think it's going to head up there. Weekly time frame has a super obvious invalidation. It's basically this week's low. As long as you're closing above there, it's bullish. You could easily have a week down to $17. That'd be an opportunity if it closed back above, this $18.50 low. Generally, though, I do think that the breakout is real. I do think that it follows through, and I think that it's gonna. I mean, that's like a nearly 50% move from here. That's pretty fucking good. It's going to be stops along the way, obviously. But even here on the daily, this one's already eaten up the morning low. And I think that this one has as good a chance as any to put in and confirm a higher low and continue from here. I think that this is actually pretty good. So yeah. Hopefully that was helpful, ma'am. What's up, Mr. Aaron? Good day, sir. Good day to you as well. Would you look at tethered dominance on the 4-hour daily? Yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. See if it helps our biases here. Where's my tether derper? There it is, 6%. I mean, it came back down to the low side of the range. It bounced off the low side of the range. It's an inverse chart of Bitcoin right now. So that's operating exactly as you would expect. This is starting to look a lot more toppy to me. Yes, it does still hold above the 200 simple on the weekly, which is my line in the sand. But just by coming back down here, what do we have? We have same highs and same lows. So I no longer have a directional bias on this thing for upside or downside. I'm looking at this as a consolidation right here. And if it can close below the 200 simple at 590, I would get bearish, meaning that I'd be bullish on Bitcoin for a move, to $100,000, and this thing probably comes down to like 540-ish, 5.5 to 540-ish. Until then, short term, it does want to rally. I do think that you got to reconnect here with the yellow 21 EMA. That's about 617. So short term, that should put pressure on Bitcoin. And why I am a little bit defensive here for Bitcoin potentially having a short term reversal. Again, wouldn't be a long term reversal or anything like that. I don't think it'd be like a death sentence for Bitcoin. I still think that Bitcoin is seriously more likely to rally above, above its current levels rather than go below $80,000, for example. But it can draw out the short-term consolidation a little bit longer, especially if that move happens in the short term here. So yeah, and I do think that it probably will happen actually. So Bitcoin, probably going to pull back down maybe below $90,000, and then we come back to it after that. Just hope it doesn't violate any one of the very critical regions that we spoke about earlier on this video and also on yesterday's video too. All right, what else we got? And if you want to be on a 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame already has potential for hidden bearish evidence. So, maybe you got to swing down first like this and then a rally. And then hopefully if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you want to see rejection somewhere around like there. 610, 615, 620-ish region. Anywhere around those numbers is pretty good if it does reject. Great White Hype is back. What's up, man? Tesla tested 430. Probabilities downside is over. Let's check it out. I think that was one of our downside corrective targets at 430. And indeed, it has hit precisely 430. In fact, 428.78. So Crown's wrong. Fuck him. I hate him. It's a downside. I think that you might have maybe one more stab to the downside, a little bit closer to the yellow 21 EMA at 420. I think it's possible right there. But I do think that it will try for a higher low there. So whether it's today's low or whether it goes a little bit lower to 420, I don't know. I'm slightly more biased towards it officially stabbing 420 first and then trying the bounce. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at this one. Then again, I go to the monthly. You could definitely make a case for the low already being in, but I would still look at 420. I mean, it would be like a perfect retest of last month's open as well. So, yeah, whether it bottoms here, whether it comes down to 420, I don't think it's honestly that important. I think that it is overall bullish, man. I mean, look at the quarterly here. Look at the yearly. I don't think this chart is necessarily done just yet. It's kind of a weird looking chart on the higher term time frames, that's for sure. But I give it a chance to maybe come a little bit lower first, then try the actual rally. So yeah. Anyways, let's actually go to a 6-month chart. I want to see, or maybe a 2-month might be good. I want to see something that's super obvious on this. Bi-monthly, no, not really. 4-month, yep. Also bullish bias there, and 6-month also bullish bias there as well. But yeah, could easily pull back a little bit more. I would certainly be entertaining the possibility that, yeah, you do get a pullback a little bit further to the downside before this one does charge to try a new all-time high. I'm not so convinced that it's in there just yet. So yeah, I would say probabilities downside is over. I think it is less likely right now. It is less likely. It is more likely to trade a little bit lower. Mr. Sequoia says, ticker as wait, what? Okay. I think the ticker is SLV is what you're looking at. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably just like reading this, sideways or some shit. Looking at silver. So this is your silver ETF. I mean, absolutely fucking astronomical move as silver has done. This is, however, a silver trust. So slightly different, but still following the overall pattern. Look, man, I mean, what do you want me to say? It's a bullish chart. It's in a parabolic blow off top. I don't know when it's going to end. We're starting to see some extremes on monthly volatility, but honestly, for a move like this, I think that is going to base off at 100 percentile for the BBWP for 2, 3, maybe 4 months before we really have a major high in. So yeah, it looks crazy. Yeah. I assume that there's a lot of people chomping at the bit to, play a big pullback on this thing. And maybe you do get one on the weekly soon because you do have double extremes right here. So that's usually good for a pretty nice pullback. But at the same time, do I think that the overall run is done? No, I don't. You don't really give me time frames to go off of here. So I don't know how to make it as, applicable to you as possible. But I'm inclined to say the highs for silver are not in for this year. We can easily see short-term pullbacks. The weekly time frame's pretty extended at the moment. If it wanted to pull back to like mid 50s, that's fine. But I don't think we've seen the highs in for this year. I think this thing is got some new highs into probably even this, the second half of this year. Overall, it's pretty good. And I wouldn't want to stand in front of this, man. This is like a fucking runaway train right now. So yeah, you might get a pullback on the short term. I personally would not try to get too cute with this. I would not short it. I would just wait for a pullback if it's going to have a pullback and then play that rather than try to short against the trend here. Just personal opinion. So yeah. Anyways, we got Rich in HHHHH. What's up, man? God bless as well, sir. How does XRP look after the bounce and correction it had? How does Bitcoin look with HPDR if you can? And thank you. I didn't bring up the HPDR yesterday or today. It's kind of uncharacteristic to me because it is among my favorite indicators. I mean, it's still probably my favorite indicator, to be honest with you. Let's go to CME here. Yeah, so CME did reclaim the median, not in the way that you want to see it, even almost tested the top to the 38.2 level. We go down to the daily for some that's readable right now. Yeah, I'm inclined to say that the daily will reconnect with the median as well. So I don't think the low for the day is in just yet. I think Bitcoin does come down a little bit lower, maybe like another $1,000 lower, something like that. at some point. Anyways, how does XRP look after the bounce? I believe we've been looking for a bounce above, what was it, like at least 220, 2.25, potentially all the way up to 250 for a while now for XRP. It is now above 220, so we did hit that. Got up to actually 235, which was, now I remember, the target from Monday's live stream. So we got that as well. Now turning down. And what I notice here is that the daily RSI is significantly higher highs than any of the highs that we've seen, back from November, back from October, even back from fucking the early October rally right here when it's trading above $3. So, you do have hidden bearish divergence as potential. And I think this one likely does pull back more alongside Bitcoin. I think you're going to pull back down to like 210 or something. I would flip around to being bearish on this thing if it actually does start to close below $2 again. But for now, I'd just be looking for a short-term pullback. And hopefully, if you're bullish, something like this to emerge where it pulls back a little bit sharply more, then levels out, puts in a higher low, and then tries another move to the upside. At that point, I think the 250 and 260 region will get tested. But for now, I would just have to say, look, we hit our targets, and I think it's going to pull back a little bit from here. But other than that, I don't feel super strongly about it. I think Bitcoin is the easier chart to read right now and the more obvious chart to read. And Ripple's just going to do whatever Bitcoin fucking does anyway. So it doesn't really matter to look at this one that much, in my opinion. If there is one thing I could call out that's on the higher term timeframes that is suggesting that we will see higher, is the bi-weekly hidden bullish evidence here. I mean, it is there, if it finishes above that pivot or basically here or higher in the next 2 weeks, then yeah, it will complete. Same thing with the 3-week RSI as well, but I just don't know how relevant that's going to be when these closures actually happen, because that's, it's 2 to 3 weeks away basically. So yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those situations like, look, had a nice move, had a nice trade. Don't fucking overcomplicate this thing. Wait for the next most obvious thing. I don't think that we have it right now. What's up, Mr. Escobar? How you doing, man? MSTX. Okay. MSTX with no time frames given. Oh, this is a 2x long. So before we looked at the 2x short, this is a 2x long. And it's been down only since July of 2025. Great fucking chart. Look, I really dislike these 2x longs or 2x shorts sort of ETFs. I don't know, looking at this, man, it's like it wants to bounce, but overall it's very weak. And overall, I don't think any sort of a bounce here has a reasonable probability to reverse the long-term trend. With that said, you could easily bounce to fucking $8.50, which is a 2x move from here almost. And that's a very tradable move for sure. It's still ultimately bearish, but yeah, I do think that you actually have a good chance to have one of those nice bounces relatively soon. You got many drives of bullish. Everyone's come off this last few lows. It's been beat up a lot. I mean, when we look at MicroStrategy, it's coming off the weekly 200 simple. I'm a lot more inclined to say you're going to bounce here. So does this thing bounce up to like $8, maybe even $10 if things get super crazy? I think it's definitely possible. I think $8 actually probably will happen. But long-term, I'm bearish on this. It's fucking ugly as shit, man. In my opinion, the only reason to play these 2x long or 2x short ETFs is not for a long-term hold. You can't hold these things long-term. You can trade them for short-term. But even then, I think it's easier to trade the underlying, might as well just use leverage then anyways. I mean, it would just make more sense to me. I understand that equity, there are equity concerns for holding those positions, obviously, but I mean, if you can't do that, you're probably just oversizing anyway. So, anyways, Chris Fellow says, doggy, lol, had to, no problem. Let's see it. Actually having a nice bounce here. And we did look for a bounce coming off, again, that 200 simple right here. I forget what the bounce target was. I'm inclined to say it was 15 cents. Did reconnect with the monthly 5 EMA, so that's good. But just like Ripple, this one does have significantly higher highs on the daily RSI compared to the highs going all the way back from fucking November, October, and even all the way here in September. It's crazy shit. So, you do have hidden bearish divergence potential right here. I do think that you pull back in the short term, maybe back down to like 13.5, 14 cents. hopefully set in a higher low there, because at that point you actually do have the makings of a real reversal with a higher high and a higher low. Right now you just have a higher high, and these are pretty notorious for being fake outs. So need to see a higher low next. If it comes down and does something like this really quickly, where it spikes like 13.5 cents, then works its way back up towards these highs, that would be a really good sign in my opinion that it is going to follow through. And you might even see a move towards like 18, 19 cents. Long term, I mean, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Like, no doubt about that. but hey, I guess there's a little bit of hopium there. Overall, my personal opinion is that it probably will fail whatever rally it's going to get here. So whether it's already done, whether it goes up a little bit higher, which it probably does go up a little bit higher, I think that you're probably going to get your next macro high somewhere between the yellow 21 and the green 55 EMAs. Something like that, man. Where is Rye? What's up? Where is Rye? Okay, pound versus Aussie dollar. Right? This is not a pairing that you see very often. GBP versus AUD. Okay, two shitcoins versus each other. And I would have to be bearish on the Great British Pound and bullish on the Aussie dollar, I guess. Yeah, this thing is in danger of getting a weekly silver cross to the downside. It has a nice downtrend ever since when? Ever since basically June of last year. I think this thing is ripe to break down here. As soon as you see a closure below December low, again, the price action pivot at $2, almost even. It's actually 202 if you want to be super exact. So look at the top right-hand side over here. Then yeah, I think you got a true breakdown, and I think you come, 195, something like that, man. Yeah. And I think that you actually, you probably come somewhere between like 195, 194 overall. This can take a long time to play out. I mean, it's fucking quarterly right here, obviously. But yeah, I think next move is likely to the downside. I'd only switch around my opinion with an invalidation above the November high of 202. Did I say the downside breakout was 202? Sorry. I whiffed that one majorly. Look at the top right-hand side. The low pivot from the price action pivots indicator is basically just a shade below $2. Shade below $2. So yeah, bias is certainly on a downside move there. Anyways, moving on, we got Simo Haya. He's looking at uranium, symbol URA. Okay, another stonk over here. Beautiful. It's stonk day. It's stonk day, baby. Run with other metals. I like what it's doing right here. It is already trading back above that swing high that you saw from December. So, or did it? 49.79 versus 49.55. Yeah, it did. Just need to see a daily closure above here. Basically, here or higher is good enough. And yeah, I do think that it's going to work its way back up to the mid 50s. Probably just, retest highs, follow the rest of the metals more or less. Again, you have a real reversal here. You got higher highs and higher lows on the monthly and the quarterly as well. And overall, I'm going to look at that as good, as usual. So yeah, I'd only get bearish on this thing if it does come back down below the November low. If it comes back down below the November low of about $40, yeah, I'm happy to get very, very bearish on it. Until then, just let the trend be your friend. Let the narratives be your friend as well, I guess, too. Jarrell K is next. He's looking at ABCL weekly, monthly. Okay, ABCL. Another stonk, Abcelera Biologics. Don't like this one. However, in the short term, probably is going to rally. Yeah, long term, it has the usual biotech bullshit chart. It's like your regular crypto shitcoin. But I do think that you have a rally here. I do think short term it extends to like $4.40, $4.50, something like this, man. Doesn't seem super relevant to you because you're on the weekly and monthly. I'm inclined to say that this thing, it is trying for a higher low here, obviously. I do think your next move is to the upside, and I do think it trades somewhere between $5 and $6 on this move. Am I calling a full-on reversal? No, I wouldn't, but not yet at least. But I do think that you got some upside from here, and I'd only be bearish only if it comes back down and trades below this week's low of 337. If that happens, yes, send it back down to the 2025 lows. But until then, give it a chance to rally. I think that you're going to see some between like, let's call it $5 and $6, something like that, man. We got Cousin Burley. What's up, Cousin Burley? Veronis, VRNS on the weekly. Gotcha. Okay, VRNS. Gotcha. Okay, on NAS, very similar in the short term to that last chart for whatever reason. In the short term, I kind of have the same opinion as well. Short term rally. Let's see. Yeah, I think that you're going to reconnect with that red 5 EMA. That's about 38 and a quarter, 38.30-ish region. Long term, it does seem to try to put in a higher low here, and you got same highs already over here. So it probably is consolidating in a healthy manner. But I just don't think it's going to be doing anything like super significant to the upside. Like, I don't think you're going to see like $50, you know, but I do think that you trade up to like, I don't know, let's call it 38, 39, $40 on this move. Probably continue to range after that. Long term, I think that there is some good hopium here. I just think it's going to take a long time, right? You know, might be something like this. You know, then we go out to like 2028, 2029. It's just going to be a long fucking time. So I think that your upside this year is pretty limited, to be honest. Yeah. Don't think you're going to see anything like super crazy this year, at least. Although long term, I think it actually does have a pretty good shot to be decent. So there is that. We got Boyo or Boivo, guild for consolidation. It's your boy. It's me, your boy, Jake Paul. It's what like everyone used to do back, I don't know, like 5 years ago. Hey, it's me. Hey guys, it's me again. Like, what the fuck? Sound like Mario? I thought it sounded like Goofy. Guild. I don't know why my code is here, but that's cool. There's a code in case you missed it earlier for 20% off. But looking at GILD, overall pretty good. You know, closing on new highs, not necessarily bearish. I think that this thing's just going to continue to new highs here. Technically, you've not gotten the official breakout just yet. Nah, I take that back. I think it basically has. I think that this thing is just going to continue to new highs this year. I don't know, 135, 140-ish region. Do I think it's going to consolidate more? No. I think that this thing is going to try for new highs this quarter. If it does get a pullback, you'll know because it violates the price action pivot here at 118.17. And at that point, the larp line's going to be about correct, but I'd move up the downside target to like 110 instead of like whatever it was before. Regardless of whether it pulls back here or just goes up straight from here, I don't know. Long term, I think it's making new highs, man. Overall, pretty good. Great White Hype is looking at Ethereum shorts. Okay. All right. I haven't looked at this chart in many years on Finex. Don't know how much it actually matters. Have to measure it up with the last few pumps here. It is pumping up, yes. I don't think that I don't know how trustworthy this data is here. I mean, let's overlay it with an Ethereum chart and just see on all of these spikes that we've seen over the past couple of years. But Finex is just so irrelevant nowadays. I just don't know how much it matters. I really don't know how much it matters. So I'm going to mark off these ones and let's go ahead and compare it versus Ethereum. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. So Ethereum is in the, oh God. Okay, yeah, Ethereum is in, okay, we need to change this color for sure. Let's make it like bright orange because Ethereum wishes it was Bitcoin. And let's get rid of our moving averages and let's switch this also to a line chart. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Let's go over here. Not really seeing a correlation between major highs or major lows when we see this pop up. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's super obvious here. And thank you for becoming a sponsor. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that's pretty cool. What's up, Ondo Poncho? I see you over there. Oh, he's gifting out some Crown memberships. Fuck yeah. Get your free Crown membership from Ondo Poncho. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, motherfucker. I love it. Yeah, I don't see anything that's I don't see anything that's obvious here that's correlating with highs or lows on this. So yeah. I don't want to like split hairs on something that is, if it's not obvious, it's probably not really worth much. So personally, I don't have any opinion on that as it stands. So yeah, put back on my moving averages. There we go. Beautiful. Anyways, Andrew Plus says, can we look at LAC? It's a lithium stock. Sure. LAC, Lithium Americas Corporation. We've definitely looked at this one before. I guess I've been anticipating a bounce here and for that bounce to fail, but I don't know. I still think it bounces higher. I still think it bounces probably like $6.50 to $7, something like that. Maybe at most like $8 could get up there for sure. When I go to the monthly, at least $6.50, maybe $8 if things get really crazy, but at least $6.50. I'm more biased towards this one failing here though, just personal opinion. Yeah, but I do think that the bounce continues a little bit more, 6.5 at least. Things get really crazy, maybe like 7.5, 8, and Personally, I think it fails, but yeah, short term should be up. Short term should be up. Famous last words. Mr. Escobar says, good entry on NVO, please, weekly and monthly. I literally have no idea what the hell you're trying to do. I don't know if you're trying to hold this for 5 years, 10 years. I don't know if you're trying to swing trade this for the next day, or sorry, scalp trade this today or swing trade for the next few weeks. I have absolutely no idea. Thus, I cannot give you a good answer. And also, I'm not a financial advisor. Thus, it is illegal for me to do such things. Do I think if you're looking for a long-term investment that you are in a good area? Probably yes. I think anywhere between 45 and 50 is probably good, or sorry, 45 and 55 is good. I think that you are putting in a macro low here. I just think it's going to take some time. So I don't know what your risk tolerance is, but something like this. Does it come a little bit lower and officially test that 200 simple? I guess that's your risk. Possibly it does do that, but overall, whether the low is in already at $43 or it comes all the way down to, what is this, 36 and a half, that to me is good enough for a major low. I think that this thing is generally going to rally from here. And you do see this thing pop back up towards 70 to 80 plus. Long-term, very good chart, like very, very good chart. So excellent. I think that this thing is most likely putting in a macro low here. I mean, when we look at the quarterly, this thing already is making lower lows and having potential for hidden bullish evidence with the lows of January from 2017 when it was trading all the way here at $17 fucking dollars. Here's a real chart, by the way. I'm actually going to add this one to my list. Is this the fat people drug? Is this the fat people drug? NVO. Yeah, great business. Great business. I love it. Anyways. The Vanyuk, what's up, man? ML stock. Wait, what? The symbol is ML? Or hold on. I'm looking for R. Okay, I'm gonna type in whatever fucking letters you just put together there. Okay, there we go. Yes, it's MT, my good man. MT. Yeah, this is it. Okay. All right, cool. I mean, look, I really dislike that this one has like a shitcoin chart, right? You got the Burj Khalifa pattern right here and then down only. So is it going to behave like a shitcoin where it literally just goes down only for forever now? Or does this one actually have a chance? Because you do have 1, 2 higher lows. You did trade above the last swing high, so that's good. I do think that this one does have some more upside, maybe back up to like 55, 60 bucks. At that point, I'd want to come back and reassess it though. Long-term feels, yeah, my long-term feels is that it does have more upside here, 55 to 60 bucks. From there, I don't know. From there, I would want to come back and reassess. Yeah, let's say $55, very likely. Come back to it after that. See if we get a rejection there or not. But I mean, look, you do have some higher lows here on the higher term time frame. So yeah, I'd give it a chance. It is a real stonk after all. It's not like your random crypto shitcoin that just is going to go down only now. So I guess it'll have a chance. But first things first, see what happens at 55 bucks. Hell yeah, there's Ondo Poncho. I see you, baby. I fucking see ya. Anyways, one moment. There we go. Chris Vela says TAO, daily weekly. Yeah, so Tau, we got really bearish on this one a couple months ago. I'm curious where it's at now because I haven't seen it in a while. And is, yeah, yeah, really fucking ugly. Wow, is this thing already rejecting right here? And on hidden bear, I mean, look at this, man. Look at this. Daily RSI is well fucking higher than anything we saw in December or November for that matter. Shit, it's basically back at the same levels from the October rally when it was at that $500 tick right here. I don't know where this thing's going to top, but I can almost guarantee you it is not going to reverse here. This thing is going to fail at some point. It might already be failing right now, but at some point I would absolutely expect a failure on this one. If by some act of God it gets another leg up towards 330 or 340, I think that would be a gift from God to sell. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, in the short term, I mean, I'd even call a short-term reversal here back to the downside. It's not even a reversal, it's just continuation, actually. If it can close below Monday's low of 257 on a daily time frame, if it does that, then yeah, send it back down to the 2025 lows and beyond. And at some point, it will get back down around there. The real question is, does it rally out first, or does it just fall down straight flat on its face from here? I think falling down flat on its face from here is actually pretty likely, man. That this thing is just, it's a down only chart already. Here's the monthly. You already got a downtrend on a monthly. That's usually the death sentence for almost any shitcoin. Only a handful of shitcoins survive something like that. Go with Boris says, Hola, what's up, man? Happy New Year as well to you, sir. Please, Ocgen, OCGN, OGCN, OCGN, whoops. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right, on a quarterly. I'm already on the monthly, and I already like this. I like the higher low right here. I do think that you pop back up towards the range highs at 190 to $2. Quarterly time frame specifically. Long term, not a great chart, so I wouldn't be chomping at the bit to hold this for forever, but I do think you are going to trade up towards $2, 210, test the swing high here. If you can reclaim that high from January of 2024 at $2.10, this thing could easily have a fucking screaming run from there, to like $4 to $4.50. I mean, that's a more than 2x move relatively quickly. But long term, I'm inclined to say the history is pretty fucking bad. So while the short term, very likely, very, very likely is going to test some upside, somewhere around $2, let's say, I'd really specifically need to see a closure on a monthly above $2.10 for me to get excited for like an extension of the run, which should still be long-term bearish. It's just you would have probably like a 2x move before any sort of a major high is put in. So definitely possible there. Again, right now is, the market conditions are kind of allowing for these things to happen. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. There's over 30,000 contracts at the 870 strike on Tesla for March expiration. 870s. I mean, what, this like double out of the money right now. People make way too big of a deal about big volume on out the money strikes, for options. I think to make something out of that, it's just, you have such incomplete information. You have no idea what that person's other positions are, because if they're playing that big positions, they're not going to be doing just single legs. They're going to be doing multiple legs. I would assume. It seems like, I mean, if they have that much money, they should at least have some education. But yeah. American says Sui Daily. Oh God, using it as a proxy for Bitcoin, sir. It works the other way around, my man. It works the other way around. Shit coins are further out on the risk curve. Whatever Bitcoin does, if it's the upside, shit coins will usually underperform to the upside, and then to the downside, they will always, almost always, outperform, meaning that they lose more compared to Bitcoin. But if you do want to look at Sui, I mean, we can definitely look at it. It looks like absolute dog shit to me, to be honest. But as far as charts goes, I think it's in the downtrend of destiny phase of things. However, in the short term, does it try an extension of this rally and before it puts in the next lower high? I think it's definitely possible. If Bitcoin continues here, you should see this thing around like 230 to 250. But I think that's kind of like a max area for this rally. If it even gets there, I mean, shit, there's no guarantees for that. Doesn't even have a higher low in here, really. Long term, I think that you're almost undoubtedly going to make new lows. It's just in the short term, does it extend the rally a little bit more? I'm inclined to say I don't know. I really don't know, because it wouldn't take too much for it to get it up to like $2.25, $2.50 even. But the long term is what I feel very confident on. It's either going to fail from here or fail from a little bit higher. Which one is it going to fail from? I don't know. I think there's pretty good reasons to believe that it will fail from here after we reconnect with this major moving average, but I wouldn't call it just yet. What would confirm it for me would have to be a closure below Monday's low at 166, and at that point, just get ready for new lows at some point. Either way, I think that happens, to be honest with you, man. But yeah, it's a matter of when, not if, in my opinion. Or less of a matter of if and more of a matter of when. Kyle says, Crown, I think the USA food and whatever they're putting in it got you sick and lost so much weight. I don't know, man. I've actually been taking creatine HCl over here. In fact, I'm taking another one right now. I don't think it's the food, honestly, because I got this like hoof, foot, and mouth disease, or whatever the fuck it's called, like foot, hand, and mouth disease. Which maybe I got from the gym, maybe got from my 3-year-old niece. Typically, it's like with younger kids. And I don't know, probably nothing to do with the food. I don't know. I've also been here for a while now too, and my weight's been, pretty stable. But I just don't know what's happening here. Maybe it's a changing of the seasons. Maybe it's changing the weather. Maybe it's just too fucking dry here. That's very possible. But I'm gonna get a humidifier today and see if that helps the issue. Because yeah, who wants to be a fucking skinny twig? We're in America, baby. We gotta be fat as fuck. Very nice. Very, very nice. Shitcoins are just oscillators of Bitcoin for algos. Hoof and mouth, something like that, man. But look, I had it all over my fucking body. It was crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's look at Solana. I don't know why, but why not? It's already here on the list. You're on the top side of the range, hidden bearish divergence possible already. I mean, this is as good as place as any to turn down. It's just, are the rallies going to be rejected this soon? This soon, after a month and a half of sideways price action, to get rejected this soon seems unlikely to me. Is this thing going to trade back up towards like 160? I hope so before it gets rejected. I hope it does. I mean, just for the market's sake, like, God, is it really that bad? You know, I do think that some of these things should try some higher rallies. Shabbat Shalom says very Jewish. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but sure. G Unit says I would put towards that you have been. Wait, what? I would put towards that you've been working on your house, unlike your standard days of the past. I don't know what that's in reference to. But yeah, we have been doing a lot of work on the house. I can tell you, man, I got more steps living in a fucking house than in the suburbs than I do in the middle of a city, which is kind of weird. Solana looks like total BS. Yeah, I mean, overall, I certainly don't like it, but for me, it's not so much that I think Solana is great or anything like this. It's just after a month and a half to 2 months of consolidating on the lows, is that all of the rally you're going to get? I do think it'd just be so weak to do it just from there. You know, getting back to 165 would be like your stock standard bearish rally, and it's nowhere near there right now. So I don't know, man. It might be a little bit too soon to be getting bearish on some of these shit coins. So yeah. Heard $2,000 government checks are on the way. Fuck yeah, man. I'm spending it all in one place, and that's for ammunition. Where's the best place to buy ammunition, by the way? Not because I'm actually going to use it, but because I want to go to the range and practice. Anyways, RBLX Roblox, I think it is. Let's check it out. Roblox, not good. Not good overall. At some point, you're probably going to get amounts to be like 85 to 90 bucks, but I don't think that that's going to be a reversal. I think after whatever bounce you get, it's going to find its way back down to like 65, 70 bucks. Yeah, I think that this thing is at some point coming lower after a short-term bounce, something like that. Did we do Palladium? No. You're moving and buying a house. Congrats. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Are you getting out of California? It seems like everyone's getting out of California. I just read that California is going to be the most moved out of state, or like the worst net migration state for like the third or fourth or fifth year in a row. Kind of crazy, man. You know, the funny thing is that Europeans generally think that LA or California in general is like the mecca of where to be. You know, they think it's like the best place ever because of what they've seen in the movies and everything. They just have no fucking clue of what it's actually like. Kind of funny, man. I can't wait to show Elsa Southern California. Can't wait to fucking scare the shit out of her. I hope she's not listening right now. Anyways, Palladium, overall good. Overall, I think that this thing's going to make new all-time highs this year. Is it going to make it from here? Maybe not from here. It's in a short-term consolidation, obviously. You know, your high of today is going to be the high of your range, and then the low somewhere around like 2050. So I do think you spend a little bit more time kind of oscillating in this range, but I do think it will resolve to the upside. I'm only bearish if it comes back down below this price action pivot at 1,900 bucks almost. So yeah. I've ordered from Lucky Gunner and in town when SGC gun range has sales. Gotcha. Okay, I'll write that down as well. Heard GameStop is a good buy. I've heard the same. GME. Yeah, a long time since I've heard anything about GameStop actually. Is it a good buy? It's a good buy. Like if you're waving to it, you know, goodbye. Have fun staying poor with your GameStops. Yeah, pretty bad, man. Pretty fucking bad. And New York and Chicago are hot on the heels. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate because I used to live in Chicago, and honestly, besides all of the crime, Chicago's a great place. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy because when you live in a city and that's all you know, it's like, okay, that's just life. It is what it is. And you don't really think about it that much. But as soon as you move out, you know, a little bit further out the city, like a suburb or even just a little bit outside of the city, you're like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy. But yeah, I still love Chicago, man. I would actually go like, I wouldn't live in Chicago again, but I would go back to Chicago. I don't know. Chicago's just a special place. It's cool as fuck, man. It's Batman land. Let's see. There's no reason to be there. Go Hawaii or Texas. Hawaii. I mean, obviously it's very, very nice, but yeah, I hear if you're looking to avoid taxes, Hawaii and California are among the worst states for that, man. I got a house in Grass Valley, about 500. Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Congrats, Alfie. That's awesome. In Sacramento myself, and trying to get the hell out. Hopefully Oregon. I don't know if that's a better place. At least no sales tax, I guess. But I went to school in Oregon. I went to University of Oregon. I don't know, man. Like it's it's a beautiful place for sure. It's a beautiful place, but the rest of it, a lot of meth heads there. A lot of meth people there. ClanCom says, can you look at Cardano? I can. Do you think it has another leg up to 50 cents? I don't know. That's a good question. I have my LARP lines here suggesting it probably does extend the rally. Yeah, I mean, look, is it going to do it exactly from this moment? Probably not, but does it spend a little bit more time going sideways and then put in that move and then smash down? Probably. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to like smash down exactly from here. I think you should be getting a decent bounce. I've used Freedom Munitions a lot. Yeah, I've also been on this one too. I have a local source for cheap. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, the 124 grain is much better. Actually, I was testing out 2 of my guns this past weekend at the range, and one of my guns did not like the 115 grain that you typically use for range ammo. It only would take 124 and above. It would just get jammed every other fucking shot when that happened. But my other gun, it was taking anything like like it was fucking candy. It was nice. I haven't bought 5.56 in a while, as I've seen. Oh wow, okay, cool. Shit. I've always used Midway USA for my 5.56. Okay, I'm writing all these down, by the way. Midway USA. And yeah, Freedom, I do know. I've actually used that one to order as well. I mean, it's decent price, just not the best prices, I figure. Hawaii is overpriced, and it's either super rich people or poor locals. Yeah, I mean, I have a cousin who's like unbelievably loaded, not from like their own making, like from their family, and you know that's where they go. You know, they're kind of like elitists, I guess, in a way. Not bad people, actually, very, very nice people, but they probably just don't even realize it, you know, because they just, I mean, they've just been born into it. You know, you just don't even know. You just don't even know if you're born into, you know, extreme wealth like that. Crazy, dude. You got to live in Washington, no income tax, and shop in Oregon, no sales tax. Actually, that is pretty cool, but Washington is among my least favorite places in the US, and I'll explain to you why. It's not because of the scenery. It's actually got very beautiful nature, but I've literally never met a single person from Seattle, Washington that I like. Never, not once. They're all fucking weird. They're all fucking weird. I'm sorry if you're from there, but you know it's true, and you are probably weird yourself. Look, I'm very weird myself too, okay? I'm very fucking weird. Look, I'm talking about magicking up money on the fucking internet to other autists as well. It's beautiful. I love it. But yes, it is very weird. Unfortunately, Washington is full of people not necessarily like that. They are weird in a different way, not in a good way. Neither am I either. Anyways. Hello Crown says the swaggin' story. Swaggin' story. I'm feeling swaggy right now. Yes, let's look at some NXTTs, Mr. Swag. Next, Technology Holdings. I'm feeling very swagged out right here. Swag. Pacific Northwest weather sucks. Yeah, it really does. Look, I don't mind snow that much, but I fucking hate the rain. Like, the rain sucks. The rain sucks. Like, who likes getting fucking rained on when you go outside? That sucks. What's up, D Johnny? How you doing, man? Dread Mining says, yeah. Oh, I just read that. All good, man. Mark Toe says, I hand loaded my 45 ACP rounds and lowered the powder. Got 1-inch group at 15. Oh, holy shit. That's really impressive, man. Did you ever feel like you needed a gun in Europe? Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because I was basically Elsa says absolutely for sure for sure as well. I mean, definitely for the girls. I mean, shit. I bet a lot of girls wish that they could have some form of protection there because in Finland, at least, you weren't allowed. You're obviously not allowed guns for protection, but you're not even allowed mace. You're not even allowed. You're not. You're really not allowed anything. Like if someone wants to rob you or rape you, you just have to let them do it, I guess. Because if you fight back, then you're on the hook for assault. It's fucking insane, man. It's absolutely fucking insane. I've read countless stories of that exact instance happening, and it blows my mind. It's like, how can the law be so out of touch with reality here? But I don't know. That's just how they do things, I guess. And shit, man, if you've been to any major European city, whether it be London, whether it be, the Nordic cities, I mean, fucking Stockholm, Sweden, not very nice now, by the way, the murder capital of the world, or among the first world murder capitals. All of the Western European major cities like Paris, like Amsterdam, that I've been to, I don't feel very safe in any of them, to be honest with you, man. Especially if it's at night, it's not very nice. I mean, we were just in Paris as well. Like there's some very nice areas of Paris, absolutely. But as soon as you go outside of that small bubble that is very nice in Paris, it's not very nice. It's not very nice at all, in fact. It's really fucking weird to see, like super fucking weird. And if you've been there recently, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shit, I mean, even in the nicer areas of Paris, like you still kind of get a little bit of a weird feel because French people are just gay and that's annoying. But I'm kidding, okay? I'm kidding. They're not gay and they're not annoying. But generally, I don't know. There's just a weird feel there. There's just a weird feel there. And there's countless stories of fucking, mass attacks there. What seems like every week, people talk about mass shootings in America. I don't really see much difference between the shootings that happen in America and the shootings that you see in Berlin, that you see in Paris, that you see in Brussels, that you see in London, that you see in Stockholm. I mean, all of these places are like really fucked up. I think even Spain has some issues now too. Like it's sad to see because it seems very self-inflicted, these countries, the European Union it's so unfortunate because I love European history. I love it. I study it a lot. Okay. The Middle Ages is my favorite period of time. And I spend a lot of my free time studying it because I'm just fucking weird like that. I'm just autistic like that. And from where these European countries came from and where they're at right now is just night and day. They've completely castrated themselves. And I say that as like a very direct term. Like they quite literally have just erased any form of masculinity in their, in their society. And I think the results are not that great. You need a balance between femininity and masculinity to have a good society. You can't just eliminate one side or have one side outweigh the other side significantly. It's not going to work. You need both. They're puzzle pieces. They work together. I hate this fucking alpha male or alpha female shit where like, the fucking, the red pill guys are like, fucking girls, don't need fucking girls, bad girls, I'm going my own way, man. I'm going my own way. I hate the girls. And then the girls are the same way. They're like, I don't need no man. I'm single and independent. And both of them fucking retarded, okay? Both of them are two sides of the same retard coin who have completely fucked up the rest of civilization for everyone else. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We need balance. You need balance between the feminine side and the masculine side. You need balance between the left and the right. You need balance between all of these different forces. Agreed. He said if he wanted to live in Oregon, it's worse. Lots of blue hair. Lots of blue hair in Oregon. Oh yeah. Lots of gender fluid fucking golden retrievers there too. You not need gun in East EU. Well, actually you probably do, but I don't know, man. I've been there as well. I don't know. Euro-minded, just go with the flow, bro. The criminal just doesn't know better. Yeah, Europe can be summarized in one way: castrated and more empathy for criminals rather than the victims of those same crimes. It's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy, man. You think it's a joke when like you're looking at the news titles and everything, and you're like, that can't be true. That cannot be true. But then you look into it and you're like, oh my God, that is true. And like, These are real people who just had their life completely fucked up and they have absolutely no recourse and there's no justice. I mean, the justice is, oh, that person goes to a very nice jail, which is basically like going away camp for, a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever it is. And then all good. They are rehabilitated. Anyways, guitarist says Brian Armstrong coin, research coin. All right, this is a new one for me. I've never seen this one. Research coin for researching on the blockchain. Looking pretty fucking bad, sir. Very fucking bad. Yeah. It's already in the down only trend of destiny, my man. Great place for another lower high as well. Yeah, might as well just go straight down from here, man. Pretty fucking bad. Can you do GE Aerospace? What's the ticker? I'm just going to type it in. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's literally just GE. Really good. Really good. Do I need to buy GE too? I have GM. Why not have GE? Yeah, just closed on new all-time highs in Q4 of last year. Or sorry, actually Q3. Yeah, I mean, I expect this one to continue to make new all-time highs. Yes, there's going to be pullbacks along the way. You might even get one in the short term back down to like 300 or so. But overall, it's good overall. I think that you make new highs this year. I mean, shit, daily wants to continue like right now, I think. Maybe. Long term, I feel very confident about it. Short term, if you pull back to like 300, that's fine. Doesn't really do all that much. All good there. When it comes to home intruders, most think about what if I'm in the shower? There are two types of people, those that are scared to fight naked and those that are already planned to. That's right. That's why we stay hard. Farleon says, ammo, now you can know why certain makes and models are preferred. Some will take anything from shit to great. Yeah, I'm really starting to understand that. Like the quality of the gun and the quality of the ammo do matter. Some guns, they just take anything. Some guns are very specific about what they want. And I can definitely see how that's going to, really matter with like obviously munitions in a war, but you hear about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia all the time. And it's like, they need more supplies. They need more supplies. Like, oh, I see. Yeah. Cause like not all supplies are created equal. It really does take a lot. Anyways, you should visit Eastern Europe. Very safe. You can walk safely at night. I don't know, man. I tried that in Estonia. I mean, I guess it was safe. Nothing ever happened to me, but I definitely saw a few things. That's for sure. Anyways, mostly it was pretty fine. Yeah, probably in Poland it's fine. I mean, Poland seems probably like one of the better places in Europe. Home defense alpha equals pump or combat shotgun. I don't know, man. If you have a shotgun, aren't you just going to destroy your walls? It does sound pretty badass, though. I'll definitely get one at some point. I just got one of these. I just ordered one of these massive gun vaults or gun safes. Looking forward to get that, but yeah, gonna take some time. Have you gotten a plate carrier and plates yet? Do you mean like for like bulletproof vest? No, I haven't gone. Can you get that? That's cool. Clouded Bussy says shop on NASDAQ. I think we're gonna end it on this one. My voice starting to get a little bit tired, and we got an appointment to get to relatively soon as well. Shopify, good overall, very good. I'm bullish on this thing as long as you above last month's low at 149. I think this thing is ready to just retest all-time highs, maybe even make new all-time highs in January, February. Daily time frame, pretty good right here. Hidden bullish evidence in that last low from last Friday. I think this one in the short term is going to pop back up towards 174, 175. Does it continue from there? Might as well. Might as well. Overall bullish. In the short and medium term, I'd only switch to bearish if it took out last Friday's low at 155. And even then, it's not bearish. It's just looking for a move to the downside, into a higher low. All right, last one for Heffy. Heffy's looking at IBIT. Actually, probably interesting to look at this one. You got the Jan 30 55 strike. I'm guessing calls probably. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't like buying premium. That's not what I would have done in this situation. Right now, volatility is declining. And while I am biased towards an upside move with declining volatility, I think that you just bought dead premium, or at least, I mean, if you want to play that move, you just play the spot underline. It's going to be easier. The only reason to play options is if you're going to do multiple option legs, in my opinion. In this case here, you might even end up in the money, but still having a loss or barely break even because you're just eating up time right now. every moment that's ticking by, you're losing that. You are losing theta on this one, and with an expiration on Jan 30th, that's going to really start to really start to collapse in premium once we get to next Friday. So I would just be aware of that, because if things don't start moving soon, I think that should. I generally think it's a bad position anyways, just because of where volatility is right now. There would have been much better ways to play an upside move if you wanted to do that, in my opinion. All right, last one. Like seriously, the last one for Crypto Rect. Just because he's an OG now. River USD, so some random shitcoin. Let's see how this one's doing. I'm guessing it's great. In fact, it actually does have definitely the best crypto chart we've seen today. Don't know how much I trust it though. You do have some daily bearish divergence developing right here between this high and this potential high. If you come back down below yesterday's low at 14 and 12.5 cents, I would confirm that and send this thing back down to like fucking $10. Very bad. But hey, give it a chance. Well, I guess it's still above yesterday's low, but the second it comes back down below yesterday's low, big problems. Big, massive problems. All right, sir, come on. Pi fucking verse. Actually pretty good. I don't know, probably does test that prior high. I don't have much to make out of it other than that though. Too new of a chart. Short term on the 4 hour. Yeah, probably tries one more upside move. You do have an ascending trunk right here, so something like this. Boom. Okay. Doing a very terrible drawing at the moment. Something like this, man. Let's see, without imply. I'm doing, this is not going to be that accurate, but like somewhere around one, let's just call it $1, a little bit above $1. Assuming it doesn't fail. If you come back down below yesterday's low at 76 cents, it would be a failure, and I would invalidate that move. But until then, yeah, probably somewhere around $1. Anyways, that's going to do it for today, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you on this nice Wednesday morning. Oh, wait, hold on. Hip Hop Anonymous says, real quick round, going through the Bible, but should I look at your content on channel first, which is locked behind your YouTube sub? If you have the Crown Trading Bible, you're going to get all of that content in a much better way and more detail as well. So not necessary. The YouTube sub content is really made for like, if people really want to test, dip in their toesy woesies into the water, you definitely don't need to go over that if you've already got the Crown Trading Bible. But if you just wanted to, get a little bit more than usual, and I think that's probably gonna be appropriate for most people, then just go with the YouTube sub, because it's, it's a lot easier, it's a lot cheaper, it's all good. But hey, that reminds me, we got a sale going on for the next less than a week. So if you're interested in it, then check it out at the Teachable link in the description below. The code is 2026 for 20% off. And that's where we're gonna end things for today. As always,